Dreamland is a location on the planet Popstar, the place where Kirby and friends live. Dreamland. Now that paints a picture. Sprawling mazes of cake and cream, a duck in space that's very mean, crystal caverns that are good for cardio. No, wait, it's just rolling hills from Mario. Oh, and also these hills are apparently made of cheese.
So tasty!
But it wasn't always this way. Kinda.
The year is 1996. The woolly mammoth had just gone extinct. Benjamin Franklin was showing his newest invention, fire, to the ancient ancestors of the people who make fake PNGs. And most importantly, Masahiro Sakurai was creating a new video game for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. A console from basically the Pleistocene era that launched only 20 years after the announcement of GTA 6. And what a game it would turn out to be.
Kirby Superstar, in my opinion, best demonstrates Dreamland's potential, because whilst Kirby's Dreamland from 1992 and Kirby's Adventure 1993 were both designed by Sakurai and heavily featured Dreamland, they both faced great technical limitations due to their consoles, making Superstar the best representation of Sakurai's vision. Now, I'll be the first to admit, not all of Superstar's locations are great. Spring Breeze especially is just a lot of grass. But from the delicious mountains of Dinoblade to the enchanting Sky Palace from Gourmet Race, Superstar still puts in the work to make Dreamland feel like an interesting and lived-in place. Though the stars of the show here are definitely the Hailbird from Meta Knight's Revenge and the entirety of the Great Cave Offense, which have interlocking and connecting levels, which bring together a cohesive sense of place. But it was clear that this was only the tip of the iceberg, and there was nowhere to go but up. And that's what happened. They went up. Up and left? A lot of Kirby games post-Superstar actually don't take place in Dreamland. And then the games that do use Dreamland either only use it for 5 minutes, then go on to something else, or don't do anything interesting with it at all. The two main exceptions being Triple Deluxe and Planet Robobot. And I think that one of the main reasons why Dreamland feels so boring is that they use its fantastical nature as a way to excuse generic platforming design when they should be using it to contextualize it. One of the best uses of platformer contextualization can be found in the Donkey Kong Country series, in which most of its platforming elements are contextualized through realism, meaning that each platforming element still adheres to some sort of physical law and has a reason for existing, except for, ironically, Donkey Kong's most iconic element, the barrels. But Miyamoto proved pretty early on that barrels are above the laws of reality. Since when do barrels know how to use ladders? Though one thing to consider is that Donkey Kong Island is far less cartoony than Dreamland. But that doesn't mean Kirby should throw all realism out the window. Kirby, instead, should turn to whimsical and fantastical justification in order to contextualize its platforming. Add wings to some of the airborne platforms and say they're heading south for the winter. You could also have some sort of wacky creature carrying the platforms. Or, I don't know, add sparkles beneath the blocks. Just anything. Anything is better than this. It isn't rocket science. Another game that uses contextualization, but in a different way, is the hit 2023 game, Pizza Tower, which was inspired by the Pepsiman franchise that also starred a food-related mascot with a crippling cardio addiction. While Donkey Kong uses its setting to justify its platforming, Pizza Tower uses its setting to justify its mechanics.
Built in the century.
A great example of this would be Oregano Desert. You got this old western-style desert, so you run into this cowboy-looking guy who gives you a spicy chicken wing. And because you got the cowboy guy, you need the cows, which will kick you around. And because you got the cows, you'll need some aliens to abduct them. Wait, aliens? In a desert? Oh my god, is this New Mexico? Most Kirby games besides Forgotten Land don't really have any level-specific power-ups that are outside the overarching gimmick for the game, but adding them would greatly complement Kirby gameplay. Contextualization is the main thing holding Dreamland back aesthetically and mechanically, and adding some would be a game changer. And they have so many places to take inspiration from, like their song names. Butter Building? How about a Butter City, where the platforms are food-based construction vehicles? And because of the setting context, you could have a hard hat mechanic, where you're protected from falling debris when wearing it, but you can also be pulled around by magnets. See? Contextualization for the platforms and the mechanics. They could also look to their spin-off games for inspiration. The Dream Buffet course would make an awesome ice cream ski resort. Or they could look to some of their fan-created content where continuity is another area where Kirby and most other 2D platformers struggle with. And when I say continuity, I'm talking about the ways that different levels interact with each other. Many platformers achieve this by simply having returning gameplay mechanics that get more complex as the levels go on. But some games take this even further. In Celeste, most levels begin where the last one left off. And Ori introduces a really novel idea, with you being able to first see locations in the background, then get to them by platforming upwards. Even Kirby in the Forgotten Land does this, with certain levels appearing in others. And this is really important because it makes you feel like you're traveling through an actual world rather than just Kirby went to Green Gardens, and then he went to Friendly Fields, and then Reef Resort. Well, I guess there's still... But because HAL was tired of appeasing their whiny fanbase,
Shut up!
They decided not to bother with the cohesion between levels. The final missing ingredient of the perfect Dreamland Sundae is variety.
Fabio, are you telling Nintendo to be more creative?
Yes.
But I'm not just going, this thing sucks. Okay, so what do you think they should do to fix it? Your IP address is 498. I think that in this video, I have identified the main problems with Dreamland and the strategies they can use to improve it. They can either start with the mechanic and then build a level around it to provide context, or start with a level idea, then create the mechanics that fit in with the pre-established context. And by asking, okay, what do we do in our previous levels, and how can we either progress off of this to expand on the core idea, or take it in a completely new direction to create a satisfying sense of contrast. You can create a rewarding feeling of progression, and when you put these things together, variety will come. It just works. Get out of here, Todd Howard. Go back to your 7.0 user score. I know this because the Kirby team has done it before, and they can do it again. Dreamland is an untapped gold mine of creativity and imagination. A gold mine buried under a mountain of stinking grass. Frig you!